Let's take a look at this moment. This is a big loss for the Trump administration, losing this on Daca that they pushed so hard for. This comes on the same day that we get those explosive bombshells from John Bolton's book, his former national security advisor saying he's not fit to lead the country. There is so much here at this point that the administration is fighting back against, not to mention the pandemic, the COVID pandemic getting worse.
Absolutely. This is just one other very, very important data point in everything that you just said. It's also interesting that this is coming almost 5 years to the day that the president, then private citizen Donald Trump, rode down that escalator and put himself on the map by talking about immigration in a very vitriolic way. And it made his fellow Republicans cringe. They didn't think he was ever going to get anywhere with it. And not only did he get the Republican nomination, he became president of the United States for lots of reasons. But that was a big one, that he was tapping into something that is unfortunate in this country, but it is very real, fear of the other. Daca is at least has been in recent history set apart from the really intense debate about illegal immigration because you are talking about children who came here through no fault of their own. But it has been wrapped up in that, and it has been used as a bargaining chip because there is broad support for fixing this legislatively. It's been used as a bargaining chip for the broader immigration reforms that both sides want to do. And that's why we are where we are. And so just going back to what David Leopold said, that is really an important thing to think about right now. We're only where we are where the administration in the Obama years did this by executive order. The Trump administration rolled it back the same way. We're only there because Congress hasn't been able to get its act together because it has been so divisive on this issue. And that is going to be front and center again in the presidential election, never mind the elections for the United States Senate and House.
Yep. Joan Biskupik is with us. Joan, just to remind people how this case came about, it was brought by the Regents of the University of California. The president at the time, Janet Napolitano, who was head of Homeland Security when Daca was initiated back in 2012. You wrote a whole book on the Chief Justice. So I just want your download on reading this opinion from him and the significance of it coming from him and his state of mind.
It's so highly significant for the Daca beneficiaries and for this Supreme Court. Once again, John Roberts, generally a conservative Chief Justice, has swung over to the side of the four liberals on a very important case, testing essentially, the court versus a presidency here. It was an Obama-era program that Donald Trump had tried to roll back, a very politically charged case. And John Roberts decided that the administration did not do it the right way. And Poppy, certainly recalls his vote in 2012 in Obamacare and his vote last year when he blocked the Trump administration from putting the citizenship question on the 2020 census. And at that time, he said that the reasons the administration gave were flawed, and that's exactly what he said here for a very important ruling.
Joan, a big picture, I just want to stick on the Chief Justice for a moment, because there's this, and then there's his key role, obviously, in the decision on Obamacare. And then we have a major abortion case that is still to be decided that he will also play a very key role in, giving his history of votes on abortion issues. How significant?
What I think is you can pair this one with the Obamacare one and the census one. I do not think that this decision gives us any hint or guidance going forward on more social policy sort of decisions. When he flips over, it tends to be in these big politically charged separation of powers, who's in charge here kind of questions. And that's where the pattern is. They tend to be more political and more having to do with the office of the presidency.